Hey everyone, listen to Nerd Boys Comic Blog. I'm Marco.
I'm Charles.
And today we're going to answer the age-old question, the week-long question, does The Last Jedi suck?
Should I answer that now or just at the end?
The whole conversation is pretty much the answer.
Okay, well, this is how it go. I freshly watched The Force Awakens because I haven't seen it yet, so I watched it and then went straight into literally, as soon as the movie ended, we had to get to the movie theater to actually catch the 3D showing of The Last Jedi. Initial thoughts of the movie was, because, I waited a week, I spoiled myself, I didn't care. I seen, everyone's, reviews, how, the backlash came from it. So I'm like, okay, let me see the problems that everyone else had in this movie and identify them and, try to understand where they're coming from. From, the initial, start of the movie, it was yes, this is not the Luke that we know. I'm used to Luke being, the hero, the savior of the galaxy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Guardian of the galaxy.
Yeah, a legend.
And to see, how he's just became a hermit and he's just I don't want to deal with anybody. It kind of reminded me of, Yoda.
Yeah, a combination of Obi-Wan and Yoda, which makes sense. It's this is his logical journey. It's pretty much mirrors or rhymes with the original trilogy. Because George Lucas has this thing, and all these trilogies kind of rhyme with each other. His idea of not so much repetition, but just rhyming with previous movies. Phantom Menace is A New Hope. Attack of the Clones is Empire Strikes Back. Revenge of the Sith is Return of the Jedi, except just flipped and mirrored around.
Yeah.
It makes sense that this trilogy would be kind of A New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi. Just kind of different. And this movie has a really bare bones skeleton of Empire and Jedi. Because you got some throne room stuff from Jedi. You got the Hoth battle, but it's now on a salt planet. That's about it. And some other minor things. But other than that, people are kind of complaining that it's not enough Empire. Or it's not enough every other Star Wars movie.
I mean, you can't make you can't make it like every other Star Wars movie. It's a new Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It's meant to set its own ground. From the initial, Force Awakens, that right there should have told you, a lot of people, they made it, seem as if it was a mirror or a comparison to A New Hope, which there were certain factors that played along. Well, it was wow, okay, this do remind me of A New Hope. And when I sat there and watched that, it's been out for 2 years, it felt like a Star Wars movie. Every scene, of a situation that took place, when Han came back, and just seeing the Millennium Falcon, each of those things, it played on my nostalgia. It honestly did. They did what they were supposed to do. But at the same time, it came out to, it showed you, hey, we are moving on to the next generation. And I think that's the issue that people have with The Last Jedi.
Yeah, because I think everyone was expecting something that was very predictable, very much just The Force Awakens, it was just a repeat. And then Rogue One was pretty much just trying to be the originals again.
Yeah.
So you have 2 movies in a row that are pretty much predictable and you know everything that's going to happen.
Well, with Rogue One, you had no other choice.
Yeah.
It was a prequel to, a movie, it was already set in stone how it was supposed to end.
Yeah, it was the prequels.
Yeah.
So you go from the original trilogy to the prequel trilogy, which is very predictable, and then you have these 2 new movies, which were spot on. Everyone was pretty much right in their predictions, unless for some reason you thought Luke was going to be Kylo Ren.
And that's one thing I can say, after seeing, The Force Awakens and then watching The Last Jedi, it's okay, we're introducing you to these characters, but we got to let you know, they're the Resistance. Things do not go well for them. And to see how this entire movie played out, I'm on the edge of my seat. Every time I see Luke, it's exciting. But it's I understand where he's coming from. You see how the story plays out where it's he had the issue with his nephew / apprentice where he knew he was going to lead over to the dark side. And when he thought he could kill him, he couldn't.
Because that's not Luke.
Yes.
It's within his character to just be no, have doubt within himself. Because he's had doubt from the beginning. He's had doubt since A New Hope. He's I can't be anything more than a farm boy.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to be I can't be a Jedi Master. I can't be this. I can't be that. I can't kill my father. He's progressively moved on from all those doubts in his mind. But this one was kind of just too big and it kind of backfired on him.
Yeah. As upset as he was, if he was to go, well, he didn't go through with it. That's why we are where we are. But But if he did, I wouldn't blame him because he fought his father. He's seen what happens. I mean, this is a cycle that keeps going. Apprentice turns on teacher. They battle it out somewhat, and then like apprentice go on and join the dark side.
Pretty much. And this has happened for like thousands of years.
Yeah.
If you go into the old expanded universe, it's just generations, thousands of generations of Jedis and Sith fighting. One destroys the other. It's like what Benicio del Toro said in this movie. Mm-hmm. They'll blow you up today, you'll blow them up tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just an endless cycle.
Yeah, it is. I mean, at the end of the day, there may be peace, but you have to understand, in this Star Wars universe, this is the same thing that's been going on for thousands of years.
Oh yeah, we probably should have mentioned there's spoilers in this review. Movie's been out for a week, and we're going to talk about all the spoilers and also a lot of complaints people have about the movie.
I feel like if no one knows that it's a spoiler, I mean, I give it a week that it's already been out. If you're like, oh, I'm waiting until Christmas Day, I'm sorry, but this is a franchise and a property that is way too powerful for you to think that you're going to be able to make it 2 weeks before it not gets spoiled. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's you should have known.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to put spoilers in the title.
Okay.
So that'll prevent a lot of people from being like, you assholes, you ruined it for me.
No. Like, the internet has probably ruined it for you. Like, it's one of those things. We live in that day and age. You have that weekend. You have until that weekend to watch that movie being released before you can complain about spoilers.
Yeah. Even when it goes overseas, I know a lot of people wait until it's here in America to talk about it.
And I mean, I can understand that. You wait until it's in your home country to wait until, watch it and then get spoiled and see what's going on. But it's one of those things. If it's already been out for a week, you can't complain. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
After the initial weekend, it's just like, once it hit Monday, 6 a.m., you're done.
Yeah, once the memes hit, it's all over.
Oh, I mean, once the memes hit, it's definitely over.
Yeah. But individually, do you want to go by like all the different complaints people have?
You know what? I know only a few of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's one of those, like, after the first couple, I was just like, I don't even care anymore. Like, one of the complaints, I have to say this, for everyone who's like throwing all kind of crap towards Rian Johnson, after watching this movie, it's not as bad as people making it out to be. This is not the Luke Skywalker that we all know, that we all grew up, that we've seen. Yes, it was hard for me to watch the Luke that I know who defeated the, Empire by himself. Which, I mean, he didn't, but he had help. But to see how the mistakes that he made, he banished himself. Well, yeah, he exiled himself from everyone. You can't get mad at that. Like, I mean, think about it. When the prequels took place, Obi-Wan Kenobi, he was just like, hey, we got to hide out, see what happens. We got to keep the kids away from them. I mean, they could have easily tried to join the resistance or whatnot. No, they didn't. Obi-Wan, Yoda, they went their separate ways. It was like, we just got to make sure we keep this, Skywalker safe.
Yep. And there wasn't even a rebellion until many years later.
Yeah.
Like, all the Jedi Order was gone.
Yeah, they were wiped out.
Yeah. Luke started from a point that was even worse than where they started from.
Yeah, like, at least they had, like, some kind of structure. Like, Luke, he had, like, some weird green little creature in a swamp planet. Like, no, lift the rock.
I actually love that line where Rey's like, the Force makes people control other people and lift things.
Yes. And I mean, from what he taught her, and I like that nod at the end where, like, when Finn is looking for a blanket, he see that she saved all the books. Like, that right there, that's the Force, well, the Jedi, it's a religion. It's being passed on to the next person. Hopefully, it works for Ren.
Yeah. She can't do much worse than
Rey. Not Ren. Yeah. Rey.
Well, I hope everything works out for both Ren and Rey.
No.
I mean,
Kylo Ren, I hope he get the same treatment his grandfather got, but he doesn't survive it. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, both his legs and his arms get cut off, and then his, like, cape get caught by lava, and he's set on fire, and he just sit there and cook alive. Well, he won't have his master to come save him, because he's dead.
Oh, yeah. Which leads me to Snoke. How do you feel about the death and probably not return of Snoke?
I found that kind of hilarious. Like, it's one of those, you can only pick on someone for so long until, like, he's just like, you know what, I'm really sick and tired of your crap.
Yeah.
I'm fine that he died. Would have liked to know more about him? Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, everyone jumped to these conclusions, especially in this day and age where the moment one person says something, everyone feeds on it. Like, Senator Palpatine. When we seen the Emperor, and like, what was that? In A New Hope.
No, we saw him in Empire.
Okay. I don't know why I thought they showed him in A New Hope. Haven't seen him in years. When they showed him in The Empire Strikes Back, it was like, oh, who was this guy? But we slowly became to learn he was the guy that converted Anakin Skywalker into Darth Vader. That's who Snoke is. He's just a plot device.
Yeah.
He's the reason why Ben Solo is now Kylo Ren. Like, he served his purpose. We don't need to know his backstory. If, Disney/Marvel decide to make a comic for it, go right ahead. But it's not one of those things that needs to be introduced to the movies. Because, let's be honest. The Emperor, we didn't know anything about him until they made another 3 movies that was a prequel.
Yeah.
And even then, we don't know how he got converted to the dark side. We don't know anything. So this whole trying to figure out who Snoke is, he served his purpose. He was the great evil leader, and he got taken out by his apprentice. All Siths are. The apprentice always take over. That's just how it is.
Yeah, he's just a stepping stone for Kylo Ren to become the bigger bad guy, and hopefully a better bad guy.
Yes. I hope he become the Darth Vader so Rey can, strike him down.
Hopefully.
I didn't hate him as much as I did in, The Force Awakens. In The Force Awakens, he was just so whiny. And in this one, I have to say, I appreciated Snoke for treating him like the, punk he is. He's take that ridiculous mask off. I was because I never knew the purpose of him wearing it, and I guess he was trying to be like his grandfather, and I'm seriously, dude? You're just and you know what? That's one thing I can't say I love about Snoke. As much as people hate, the evil emperors, he just talked like it is. He's you're nothing but a child in the mask trying to be like your grandfather.
It's pretty much like Rian Johnson took all the internet comments and was here's the dialogue for Snoke.
Yes. It was right. When I first seen Darth Vader step aboard the Rebel shuttle, it was just oh my God, who is this guy? Just in all black, you don't see his face. Then as you learn later on, hey, he needed that suit that he was wearing. He needed that to survive. This was his way of living. But when you see Kylo Ren, it's just what is the mask for? What is the real reason that he wears it? And in these 2 movies, I have no real explanation for it.
It's for decoration. He's just trying to be a fanboy.
Yes, he is being a fanboy.
He's cosplaying his own OC character.
And it's funny because that's why, I don't in these 2 movies, and I'm glad that I'm able to they're still so fresh in my mind. I don't really see him as that threat that he should be. Snoke rarely lifted a hand when he used the Force. That right there, I knew he is someone you just don't mess with. He is top tier Sith Lord. He is a dangerous guy to be around. But at the same time, he didn't see himself getting struck down.
Yeah, well, you could always just put that to hubris. A lot of the messages in this movie are arrogance, hubris, and the vanity of the Jedi, and also the Sith.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I'm probably going to enjoy with this trilogy is cutting down the whole Sith and the Jedi, and just they're not what we think they are, and if they quote unquote still do exist, it's done for. Yeah. It's going to be a new age where at the end of the day, it's going to be good against evil. That's just how it is. Not Sith and Jedi, just going to be good against evil.
Pretty much. I think that's kind of another thing they're trying to lean into. It's burn the past away.
Yeah.
And just move forward. Even though episode 9 and possibly 10, because I was thinking Kylo Ren could be a way better villain if he had 2 movies to really become a villain. Whatever comes after the end of this trilogy is not going to be any further than that.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be much of more prequels and side stories.
True. Even Rian Johnson, he's doing another trilogy. What people are so upset about, and they're oh my God, he had already said it's not going to deal with the Skywalkers, bloodline. There's so much more out there. We're talking about an entire universe full of thousands of planets.
Yeah, we're just seeing the war parts. We're not seeing anything in the smaller planets or colonies or anything. We don't know how the government works. We don't know anything about this universe.
Yes, and at the same time, those trilogies that they can do, if you want to, well, no, because that's still, you can set them in between, episodes 4 and, episodes 5 and, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5 and 6. It doesn't have to be to the point where it's right after, what's that, Return of the Jedi and, before The Force Awakens, you can do a trilogy where it doesn't talk about, any of the Skywalkers. You don't have to refer to what happened with Kylo Ren, how he became who he was, what happened to Luke. And honestly, you can have them as cameo characters in the movies where it's just you're just passing by, and they could talk about how they went on to having all this peace to how it fell and a new First Order was created.
Yeah, it could be because there's a lot of peacetime between these 2 trilogies. It's something.
Are we talking about 30 years?
Yeah. but there's still smaller conflict.
Yes.
Like, let's have a heist movie or a rom-com or something.
And
Star Wars needs to be more than just space opera.
And the thing that they don't understand is this new trilogy can literally pick up after episode 9. And, I mean, they can do what they want with Leia. Let it be like she retires. She's like, you know what? There's peace. I don't have to deal with this anymore. Or something else, which I don't want to speak bad of. But it can be like, you know, the new Rebels, the new Resistance. You can do something else. It don't always have to be on the Skywalkers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so I enjoyed this movie. The complaints that they had about it, I don't see it. Like Snoke, I don't care.
How'd you feel about Finn?
Finn, okay. I feel like as if like he's still a character that's somewhat growing on me. Like I enjoy his character, but I feel like as if like that casino scene, it was nice. It wasn't that bad as people, you know, put it out to be. It's like they tried to find a code breaker. Just so happened they came across another guy. But I think it was a nice introduction to a character that we're most likely going to see in like the next movie.
Maybe, probably.
Yeah, I don't. He kind of reminds me of Lando, but like more like selfish.
Yeah, a greedy Lando or a greedier Lando.
Yes, I don't understand like the complaints in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of them are just surface level stuff or things like, I don't know, I don't like this because it's too much, or no, it's too far away from Star Wars. There's not a lightsaber battle. There's two lightsabers fighting, but not against each other.
Like, are you talking between like Luke and Kylo?
Both that, well, that's a projection.
Oh, well, yes.
But the Rey and Kylo Ren scene.
I mean, first of all, the moment you introduce a lightsaber, it's just excitement all around. Just hearing that sound is like, that's all I need. Like, I mean, if you really want to be honest about it, if that's not enough for you, then you're not a Star Wars fan. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to... Loving Star Wars is not because of, like, all the characters that's in it, but the universe itself. It's everything that comes with it. It's everything. Like, you can sit there, like, when people are like, oh, you know, the prequels are bad. Okay, there are parts in there that are bad, but at the same time, it's telling a story. You may not like how the story is being told, but it's still telling the story. For instance, as you know, The Last Jedi showed us, there's a story being told. The story of Luke and how he's this great Jedi. But everyone loves him when he's that great Jedi. But to see, like, how he's beating himself up for the mistake that he's made, you can't sit there and be like, oh, that's not the Luke that I know. You're right, it's not the Luke that you know. It's not the, strong hero of the, rebellion. He is a man who's torn apart because his own nephew, who his sister trusted with him to train and become a great Jedi, made the same mistakes that his father before him made.
Yes, and his mentors before him too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing that I don't understand why like fans are like, oh, this is not a Star Wars movie. No. It was a Star Wars movie. It's
got the same themes. It's got a very dark tone, much like Empire Strikes Back. If you went back and watched Empire for the first time in like 1980, I think a lot of people would be upset like, oh, this isn't the happy-go-lucky movie I saw 3 years ago.
Oh, no, it's not.
Like, what the hell is this crap with Darth Vader being Luke's dad?
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because it's like, there was like the big reveal, which they should have saved for like, The Last Jedi. They should have saved Kylo Ren's reveal for The Last Jedi. Like, he should have just been like, seeing, what's that, Han started talking to him, say some crazy dialogue, and he just killed Han. Of course, all the fans would be upset, but it should have been a reveal. Like, if he literally was going to have that mask on, he should have had some stupid scar. I mean, story's already done, but it should have been one of those, Luke did try to follow through with it and tried to kill him and actually like slashed his face or scarred him in some way on his face. And that's the reason why he wearing a mask.
That would have been pretty interesting, but also like, I think it's much more interesting to have a guy who does not have like a physical scar, but just like has emotional scars and also wears this mask to try and like up his confidence in himself to be a dark master or dark lord. Just like a weird fanboy of Vader who's like, I'm not burnt up, but I'm burnt up on the inside. I'm a dark emo kid.
That's why I can't take him serious. Like, there were a few people who thought, like, when Vader came along, they were like, oh, yeah, this ain't nothing but that boo-hoo magic, the Force. And when he was sitting there choking people, that's when it was like, oh, okay. But with Kylo Ren, they still see him as a joke.
Yeah, kinda.
They see him as, like, this angry little boy. Like, no... Even an emperor, he took Darth Vader serious. He's like, hey, he's my apprentice. Of course, eventually my apprentice will try to overthrow me. But he didn't disrespect him as much as like Snoke is doing to Kylo Ren.
Yeah. In this trilogy, Kylo Ren's like the butt of like 95% of the jokes.
Yes. That's why I'm like, you know what? I don't see, like, I feel like Ray, they should have just chose different letters for their name. Yeah, Ray, she just needs guidance. That's what she went to Luke for. She wanted to know who her parents were, which, I could care. It's honestly, we're at that point. Your heritage really don't mean anything. Because you really want to get down to it, think about it. Anakin, he came from a mom who was a slave.
Yeah, Immaculate Conception.
Yes.
Or so they say.
I mean, so they say, but we don't know. And it's one of those things where we could sit there and be upset that we still don't know, and we can let it go. And most people have let it go. It's not one of those questions. We know his story from when he was a child up until the point he died. Like with Ray, everyone, who's her parents? It doesn't matter who her parents is.
They're drunkards. Who gives a fuck?
Yes.
They're junkies for all they care.
Yes. We're at the point now, it's like... Some people, they ride the tailcoats of their parents to get to where they, get to where they are in life. And it's like, sometimes your parents are nobodies.
Yeah.
And that's who Ray's parents are. From what we know now, they're nobodies.
Kylo Ren could be lying, but I think it's a much more interesting approach to just be like, nah, she comes from nowhere, but she can like make her own story. She can make her own future just being like a nobody character. She's a Han Solo, because Han didn't have any parents who were like...
Exactly.
He's probably an orphan as far as the movie's concerned.
Let's be honest. Who fucking parents matter in this entire world? Like, in the world of Star Wars, no one parents really matter. The only
Except for Darth Vader.
Yes.
That's it.
And even then, like, it's more of like, okay, his wife... Well, his girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, Leia pretty much followed in her footsteps, and she technically didn't really know much about her own mom. She became her own person. But outside of that, we're not asking, hey, who's Yoda's parents? Who's Obi-Wan Kenobi's parents? Like, we're not asking those questions.
Yeah.
Lando, who is parents?
Who is Finn's dad? No one cares.
I mean, if you really want to get down to it, wait a minute, do we know Poe Dameron's parents?
Yeah, in the extended universe.
Oh, okay.
Or the expanded universe.
Okay. Are they good pilots?
They're good pilots. I mean, it's...
Okay, that defeated my point of what I was trying to make. But yeah, Finn, who is his parents?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe he's not that great of an example.
But at the same time, it's like, this is a story of the Skywalker lineage, so it's like, everyone tries to make connections to the Skywalkers. So having Rey be like a nobody, I'm fine with that, because... You do have a Skywalker, you have Kylo Ren, and that's enough you need. Like,
and let's be honest, this is not the Skywalker everybody was expecting to, like, play its part in the story. Like, you want a Skywalker, you got one. He's the villain.
Yeah, it's like every other trilogy is a bad Skywalker.
Yeah.
And also, I have to mention, this is probably my favorite Mark Hamill Luke Skywalker ever, even though he says it's not his Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to say.
You know what? I think it's because working along with George... It was all about Luke Skywalker being a great hero.
Yeah.
Well, I said George like, I actually know this guy. No, working along with George Lucas, it was, when you thought of Skywalker, even when you think of Darth Vader, yes, his name is Anakin Skywalker, but no one really referred to him as that. It's always Darth Vader. It's like, oh, no. Like, even when
Skywalkers are good.
Yes.
So they'll always be the heroes.
They always will be the heroes. Even in episode 1, when they showed little Anakin, it's like, oh, that's the kid that's going to become Darth Vader. It's like, can you at least wait to see how this plays out before you brand him with that label?
I mean, you already know the future.
I mean, we do know the future, but it's like, okay, I don't even want to deal with the whole time traveling situation. But you judging them before they have a chance to do what they're supposed to do. Like with Luke Skywalker, he felt it inside Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. He felt the dark side. Instead of like teaching him and talking to him, he was finna go to attack the kid. Yeah. He acted on instincts. And did they have a chance to sit down and talk? No, he pretty much buried his teacher. And he took that as, he tried to take me out.
Pretty much. That's gotta suck being a kid who's like thrown away by your parents to go to boarding school.
Yeah.
Like Jedi boarding school, and then like your teacher basically throws you out and be like, I'm gonna kill this kid. And then your new master Snoke's just like, nah, I want Rey now.
And as like Luke explained, when he made that move, it wasn't even like, I want to do this. He couldn't bring himself to do it. And then even seeing Ben, he's just like, I can't do this.
Yeah. Just regret, instant regret.
Yes. So yeah, for everyone who didn't like this movie, who have complaints, go to hell.
It's a pretty okay movie. I think it's a really good Star Wars movie. I don't understand the backlash.
I don't.
It's crazy that there's a backlash towards the movie and then there's a backlash for the backlash, and there's bandwagoners for the backlash, and there's all these people who are upset that it's not like the originals, or it didn't match my prediction because I spent 3 years predicting what's going to happen in this trilogy. It's kind of ridiculous to think, like, is that what we've become as Star Wars fans?
Sally, I think I feel like as if with any fan base, the loudest is always the ones to be heard.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there are some true fans out there who's like, you know what? This is a good Star Wars movie. This is the progression that we were looking for. One thing that, like, I was hearing people criticize, and I didn't mind, was Puppet Ghost Yoda.
Actually, at first I thought it was weird, but then I was like, you know what? I actually like the puppet.
Like, it's when I seen him, it put me back to when I was a kid watching it, like, you know, The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi. Like,
except he didn't have his butt sticking out then.
Yeah. But in just the way, like, it's funny because when you think of, like, the three prequels and you see that Yoda, it's just like, oh, okay, that's Yoda. But then when you see, like, you know, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, you see how, like, silly and goofy, like, Yoda is. We got that Yoda in this movie. It was literally a callback to that. And I enjoyed it. When people were like, oh, you know, it was too many jokes in this movie. Like, first of all, after seeing The Force Awakens and then getting right into the, you know, Return of the Jedi.
Or you mean
The Last Jedi. Poe Dameron, he's a jokester. He's cocky and he's a jokester. So him saying anything and you expected him not to act that way, it's just like, no, that's Poe. That's what you're going to get from him.
It's pretty in line with this character because I saw it back to back with you too. This is my second time watching Last Jedi, and it's my first time doing back to back. And I was like, oh yeah, it's pretty cohesive. Even though it's like J.J. Abrams wrote and directed The Force Awakens, and now Rian Johnson wrote and directed this one. By the way, what gave Lucasfilm so much confidence in a guy who has done like one movie or like a few movies?
Oh, you talking about Rian Johnson?
Yeah, like they let him write and direct Last Jedi. Meanwhile, they're firing like directors left and right for every other project. And they're giving this guy like a trilogy, so it's like, what?
I feel like, you know what? I think the backlash from people, it's including on them like, oh, you know, this is what we're going to get. We don't want that trilogy. I feel like when they heard about Rian Johnson, they pretty much treated Rian Johnson like Luke. They had all these high expectations from him. And when they see how it came out, it's not what they wanted. Now they're upset.
Yeah.
Like, it's everyone, like, the moment Luke had that, like, projection of himself, I mean, of course, like, I spoil myself. But even then, I was noticing, like, yeah, you know, you can tell this is not the real him. But even then, the characters in that scene, it was just like, oh shit, Luke is here. That's the kind of effect that he has on people. And for everyone in this movie to see like, oh, that wasn't even a real one. That was just projection. It's like, yes, but it was still Luke. He still came in and saved the day.
Yeah.
Not like how you want it, but he still did it.
And it keeps the legend of Luke Skywalker alive.
Exactly.
We as fans know behind the curtain that Luke wasn't all that great, or he wasn't like a god. Mm-hmm. He was a powerful Jedi, but he wasn't like, infallible.
Yeah.
Now, the legend that's going to spread across the galaxy is, the legend of Luke Skywalker, this perfect Jedi.
Yeah, he stayed behind and helped the rebels escape.
Yeah.
And what happened to him, we don't know.
No, we will never know.
Exactly.
Except we know. The fans know.
The fans, and it's like, that's not enough for them. Like, I enjoyed this.
There's a heavy emphasis on, like, the new expanded universe, and, like, people kind of, like, hating that because it replaced the old expanded universe.
And like, you have to understand, there have to be change, there have to be progression, there have to be growth.
Yeah. It's
like, you can't get upset at, like, you know, the things that your parents do. It's like, they're teaching you only what their parents taught them. And it's like, sometimes they carry some of it, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Makes me wonder what Luke actually taught. Did he just teach rock lifting? And Kylo Ren was like, I'm tired of this.
And I mean, honestly, it's like how Luke, like, when he left Yoda, it was more of like, oh, you know, I'm going to try to go and do my own thing, just like Rey did. I mean, and I feel like as if every teacher and student before them have done the same thing. I'm going to try to, you know, fix this problem my own way. It's like, it's not going to work your way.
Yeah. You have to learn from your failures.
Yes.
Another lesson from the movie.
Another lesson from Luke.
Jeez. It's like Rian Johnson had a good handling and understanding of Star Wars.
Yes.
Unlike a lot of fans who are just like, there's nothing Star Wars in this.
And then at the same time, Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams, they sat down and, like, you know, discuss everything that took place in this movie. Because J.J. Abrams is picking up episode 9. Like, it's not like as if he took what he did, what J.J. said and just destroyed it all. It's like, no. He set things down I'm just, giving light to it. It's one of those things where if he did react off fans, where it's like all these fans have these theories and I'm just going to shut them down, okay.
I actually enjoy that. I like that big middle finger to like the prediction and the fan theory community, where it's like, no, your prediction's stupid.
You know what gets me about this? It's one of those things where I feel like everyone who's so upset, they've never watched anime a day in their life. Because it's one of those things where maybe because I'm somewhat of an anime fan, or because I would have to now consider myself a classic anime fan, where at the end of a lot of anime, it's just like, what happened? Trigun, Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop. We don't know the answers to some of those, like what happened at the end. And of course we can question it, but in this day and age, everyone wants that instant gratification. Everyone wants the answers to all the questions. And it's like, sometimes the answers are things you don't like. Like Rin, her parents could be nobody.
Yeah, they're just people who sold her away to slavery.
Exactly.
She's a nobody. Kylo Ren, he's our villain. I don't know. Luke, not a great guy. He's still a good guy, but not perfect. Snoke, he's a dead corpse on the floor of the freaking battleship.
You know what I seriously thought, though? I thought, like, Snook, and you call me crazy for this, was actually, like, the Emperor, but it was one of those...
body switch things?
Well, no, like, he survived, but, like, I mean, because look at Snook. Like, Snoke, his body is just in all kind of deformities.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe he was in a bad accident. Because I realized, like, a lot of people in the Star Wars series, if they don't die and they survive, it's always something bad.
Especially if you're a dark side user.
Yeah.
If you're a dark side user, your body withers away naturally. Which, I'm surprised Kylo Ren hasn't really had a natural decay.
You know what? And I think
it's the light.
Yeah, it's because he's still conflicted with himself.
That's what kept him a baby face.
Yeah. He's still conflicted with himself. But I'm content. I like this movie. I am looking forward now to episode 9. All you haters and naysayers, I don't agree with you. I think you're foolish, and that whole change.org petition is pure hot garbage. I'm sorry.
Oh, the petition?
Yes, like...
The person who made that petition wrote it while he was on pain medicine, and then after he came off of his, high, he was like, I regret everything.
I mean, I bet you he did. Like, I don't understand why people are so upset. Like, you're not going to always get what you want. Yeah. I mean, because if you should be upset about anything, it's the fact that, like, the rebellion, they're destroyed. They have enough, their crew members fit in the Millennium Falcon.
Pretty much. It's like a handful of people left.
Yeah.
But, it's Star Wars. Just give it a nice time skip. They'll rebuild their numbers.
And I mean, let's be honest. They contacted people. They pretty much sent out iMessages to the entire, group message. And they seen that everyone in that group message seen that message and no one responded.
They left them on red.
That's what happened. So, that's what you should be upset about. Everyone in the universe who could have, helped out. Now, the one thing I can say, and it's one of the most things I enjoyed about this movie, the very end with the little boy in the broom.
Oh, yeah. I kind of didn't like that at first, but this second time I was like, all right, cool. I get it.
I mean, I like it because, for instance, as you see, it's a new generation. That's what this whole new trilogy is about. It's about the new generation that's taking over. Their story about how they're going to stop the, First Order. You see the kids. They're talking about, the whole battle that just took place with Luke Skywalker and how he was against, all of the First Order that was left, and he still stood there victorious.
Yeah, it's like Luke said, you think I'm going to stand out there and fight the whole First Order myself?
Yes.
He did.
And he did. And it doesn't matter. That's the story that he told.
Yeah, that's the story everyone's going to tell. And that's the story that's going to inspire or spark the flame that will burn down the First Order.
You know what gets me, though, about, these Star Wars movies? And, watching them back to back, it made me notice it even more. Whenever someone comes up with an idea, everyone is always, continuing it.
Yeah, there's always someone who's going to continue the legacy of the Jedi or the Sith.
No. I meant, when we were just talking just now, and he was like, yeah, this the new generation that sparks the flame. Every time there was a situation or a problem, it's like, maybe we can, take out the incinerator, and then maybe we can, oh, okay, I'm so glad everyone had the same plan.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a pretty good movie.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
No, I enjoyed it.
Like, second time watching it, I think I liked it even more. It's weird to, like, think about the people who hate it, and it's like, where are they coming from? Like, what is their stance on it? I know a bunch of people complain about small things, but as a whole, it's a functioning movie.
Yes.
It's a very functional part of Star Wars.
I feel like as if everyone who's complaining literally watched 4, 5, and 6, and then hopped into The Last Jedi.
Maybe it's the prequel fans. Maybe they hate it the most. Because I'm hearing a lot of people who are like, oh, George should have made this trilogy because he did such a great job with the prequels.
Like I said, from my viewpoint, the prequels, they were pretty good. Not great, they were pretty good. For what he did, like I said, it wasn't the best telling of the story, but he told the story, and we got the outcome that we were looking for. I'm curious to see what kind of like new trilogy would have been made if George did decide to do one.
I think it would have been really close, like too close to the originals.
Yeah. I mean, and if he did have someone there to like, hey, this idea is not that great, it honestly would have been like another trilogy, and it would have been about the Skywalkers. Luke would have been the hero. It would have ended with, Luke probably like phasing away into like, a Ghost Jedi.
Or a Goku character.
Yeah.
I'm glad Luke isn't Goku. That's one of the best parts about this trilogy. He's not the guy who's going to beat everyone. He's going to pass it on to the next generation. The Gohan or the Goten.
Yes.
Preferably Gohan. And then there's a few different ideas that Lucas was throwing around and kicking around. And one of them like really concerned me, which was the continuation of the Force Ghost being heavily involved. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that Yoda only appeared that one time.
Yes.
And we didn't have an Anakin ghost or a Ben Kenobi ghost. It was just them. But I do hope Episode 9 ends this trilogy pretty well.
Yes, and if anyone does do like a Force Ghost, I just hope it's Luke. Because she really don't have any other relationship to like any of the other like Ghost Jedi.
Yeah. I mean, she could have a good time talking to Ben Kenobi and being like, hey,
Dad.
hey, Grandpa. It doesn't suck that your kid became a junker.
No, it's just one of those things where it's just sit down. I want her to have that conversation, that somewhat conversation with Luke, like Luke did with Yoda, where it's just like she felt like as if it could be a time jump. Be a time jump. I mean, we could do like 5 years, and it could be to the point she just not sure of herself. Like she thought she was going to be this great Jedi, but see how the rebellion is building back up, and everyone's believing in her, but she's just not doing as well. Find out that something went wrong when she was helping out on a mission, and he can come in and give her that one conversation to help her change her mind.
Yeah, she's dressed all in black. Poe's leading the resistance. Finn's doing...
I'm seriously looking forward to like the all black. Like seeing Luke in all black, like from the moment that I seen he had got like the haircut and like the beard and everything was darker, it was like, wow, really? Like
we're going for this?
Who gave this guy like a dye job before he got here?
No, it's the Force, man.
But no, like seeing like how he just that all black. That's always was one of those outfits, like, the moment the robe comes off and it's all black, it's like, yeah, you messing with a badass right now. I think it's time for you to go. Oh, you gonna stay? This ain't turning out well for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Anakin in all black, or like his brown thing from Revenge of the Sith, and then Luke from Return of the Jedi, and now Rey from Black Diamond, or whatever they're gonna call this new one.
I think she's gonna rock the all black outfit.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty sweet.
Yes.
Too bad Daisy Ridley's tired of this series already.
I mean, you gotta understand though. Can you blame her?
Not really. Everyone on the internet practically hates her. Well, the loudest voices on the internet hate her.
Why?
I don't know.
Like, I think everyone's playing their character well. I don't feel like any character should be replaced. I enjoy these movies. I enjoy the story that's going on. And the reason why I say I can't blame her for wanting to leave this, because when it comes fans to a fan base, it's just so toxic.
It's like hardcore fandom can't let go of the past. I know I brought this up earlier, but like, let the past die.
Yes.
Like, you can still enjoy the movies. Like, you can still enjoy the originals, the prequels, any spin-off material, any animated show, comic, novel. But I think it's time for us to move forward, because if Disney wants to do 20 years of Star Wars and they want to make bank, I think they need to go to like different directions and lean into different stuff.
Yes, because we don't want the same continuous stories all over again. I mean, comic books. Right now, what's going on in like Marvel comic books? Like, no one's reading them. Finally, they decided to cut out a lot of them, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Will that draw people back in? We don't know. Because I think they've seen their sales and realized there are some people out there who've just given up altogether on Marvel Comics.
Yeah, I think...
Like, their movies are great, but you need to do something new. I won't lie, as much as I would have enjoyed the new Luke Skywalker movie, and it's just like, hey, I'm saving the universe again. Can't nobody stop me. As great as that is, it's like, he's always the answer to every problem.
He's not Goku. He needs to be his own character. His time has passed, pretty much.
You know, the thing that gets me about this, and you heard it before in the Weekly Planet, it's like, what if someone watched the prequels in order?
Yeah.
They would have had the same effect as like these like Star Wars fans, where you watch 1, 2, and 3, you see Obi-Wan Kenobi, you see how great he is. He even took down Anakin, and he didn't kill him because that was his friend, that was his brother. And then you see A New Hope, and you see them come across each other, and then you just see him like, you know what? Lightsaber, he just turned to air, and it's just like, are you serious?
Not with a bang, but with a whimper.
Yes. It's just one of those things you have to understand. This is a new generation. There has to be progression.
Yeah. I have a family friend who, like, their kids really love Rey. Like, all little girls, and they're in love with Rey, Leia, and, like, all those characters, and all the new ones. So it's like, yeah, these movies are for little kids. It makes sense that these little kids would want to like these new characters.
And you know what? It's like right now, Boruto. We're talking about a new generation where there's people out there, which it's surprising because I remember you showed me that meme, but I feel like as if there's some people who's true about that meme where they don't know like about Boruto's father, where they're picking up here and it's just like, who's Naruto? Like, what's his story, his background? Like,
can we get a Boruto prequel?
Exactly. And right now, like My Hero Academia, what if all we see a episode or read a chapter where All Might dies? Yes, we'll be hurt by it, but what if he died within like the first 10 chapters before he was able to, after he was able to pass on the quirk to Deku. Like, what if we never seen that and we just got like a story about him? Or for instance, after, My Hero Academia, they do a continuation where it's Deku passing on the quirk to someone else and he dies. Oh my God, how can you kill Deku like that? He passed it on so the newer generation can, take suit and follow for what the previous generation done.
Yeah, it's all about legacy. That's a very nice sentiment, actually.
Yes.
Especially for Star Wars.
We're in a day and age no one want to let go, and it's like, we got to move on.
Yeah. It's such a strange thing to have Force Awakens be so nostalgic, and then this one's kind of like, all right, enough of that. Let's move on, guys.
No, they took away everyone's hopes and dreams. And that whole situation with Leia flying through like space, I didn't have an issue with that.
I think it looked goofy, and it's very meme-worthy, but it's not like, it doesn't break the movie.
It's one of those things, I think it was added in later.
So you couldn't really get like
CGI.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really get, because you could easily green screen and then have her dragged across. But from the way that I see, and that's one thing I can't say about Star Wars. Everything's about the props. You can tell that wasn't like her, dragged across a string behind in front of a green screen. That was like CGI, where it was like, okay, we add this scene in, but she's no longer here.
I think the better way to do that scene, if Carrie was still alive, would just to have the bridge explode.
Yeah.
But Carrie's using the Force to stay in the room.
Yeah.
And works her way to get out of the bridge. Instead of floating through space, people kind of thought that was goofy.
You know what? It just comes to show you how powerful she is in the Force, how powerful her lineage is with the Force.
Yeah, Skywalker. Yoda was the one who wanted to train Leia, and then Obi-Wan's like, you know what? I guess I'll take the kid, the boy. He'll be all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another complaint. How'd you feel about Holdo? Jurassic Park lady.
The chick who pretty much hyperdrive the ship into the Okay, yeah, that's another complaint with her and the whole actually discussing the plan that was going on.
Actually, I have an explanation for that. Poe just got demoted, so it's kind of like you're not going to tell this guy of a lower rank now your big plan.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the reason why there's leadership put in place.
Also, he was kind of a dick to her.
He was, but the reason why there's leadership put into place so they can make the proper leadership, so they can make the hard decisions that everyone else cannot.
Yeah.
You tell everyone, hey, this is the plan, people will probably freak out. So they set it up perfectly, and just so happened he's too high-headed.
Did you see the look on his face when he thought he was going to be in command?
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh man, I'm going to have to be the one in command now. And then Vice Admiral Holdo. And he's like, oh, what?
And it's one of those things where from the beginning, it's funny because when I seen just coming from The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi, I have this image I now understand. understand why everyone loves Poe. He's that great pilot. He's like that, their new up-and-coming hero. First 5 minutes of The Last Jedi, I'm like, someone get this kid off the bridge right now and have him scrubbing these ships. I understand his plan of wanting to take down a dreadnought, but too many people died because of you doing that.
Yeah.
You lost a lot of ships. Now
it's all about failure and learning from your mistakes.
No, this one, no. And then Rose, I was so annoyed. Like, I really like Finn, I do. But when he was about to do that suicide attempt, it's like, I can't see this happening. I hate that they taken out his character this early, but it's like, it was a proper send-off. It would have stopped the engine. And that scene reminded me of like Independence Day.
Oh, yeah.
When the guy was flying up, he was like, you know what's going to happen, but I don't care. And she just comes and saves him. I'm like, you idiot.
But then it's one of those themes. You gotta stop fighting what you hate and saving what you love.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an okay message, but I think Finn's death would have been a gut punch that the audience needed. Because everyone sacrificed himself, but it's all the new characters.
Yeah.
It's like no one we actually knew beforehand. Unless you read like a novel and you know who Holdo is. Or read a novel and know who like Phasma was before The Force Awakens.
Which I don't really care about her.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those characters where if she actually died in the Force Awakens, I would have been perfectly fine with that.
Kinda. Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Seeing her show up, which is funny, by the way, they never show her with her mask off.
Do you think she's coming back again?
No.
You don't think she's...
I think there may be a new Captain Phasma, but like her herself, no. Like, I don't understand the like frustration that people like have. Like, I don't like her. Like, she's one of those characters. She's so like unneeded, and like I said, Force Awakens, nice introduction. But other than that, like when she showed up in The Last Jedi, I'm just like, what the hell is she doing here?
She's just a cool design. She's Boba Fett. She's the next generation Boba Fett. She gets beaten up every movie she's in.
I mean, she could have waited until like the third when they actually take her out.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a chance. She could be like a robot with her new chrome body.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I kind of had this idea for episode 9, which I can think of now. It came to my head again. Having Rey's Jedi Academy versus Kylo Ren's Knights of Ren.
That's the question I was going to ask. I want to ask you later. Those red guys, those Snoke's personal bodyguards, the same one that like Vader had, right?
Kinda, yeah. Like,
No, the Emperor, he had them.
Like a variation of those guys.
Oh, okay.
I don't think those are the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren are like different. I think they would actually have lightsabers.
Because maybe this me like crazy talking. I remember the Knights of Ren being mentioned way like around the time like The Force Awakens came out, and yet we still haven't seen these guys.
Yeah, we saw them in a flashback, but that's about it. I'm sure JJ is going to be like, let me try and bring back a bunch of things I introduced since Rian Johnson dropped them.
And I mean, I could see the Knights of Ren being like, his personal like bodyguards.
Yeah, or his own Sith Academy.
Yeah. I mean, well, possibly could be, because as Luke said, he took a handful of, his students and left with them. And anyone who didn't believe in him, he slayed them.
Pretty much. Yeah, but I think that's going to be it for this podcast.
Yeah.
You good? You let everything out?
Yeah, I don't understand the hate. And I won't say I'm optimistic, but like, it's not as bad as everyone says it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you even found something to enjoy, like, you shouldn't complain.
It's an enjoyable movie. It's the most okayest Star Wars movie I can think of. A lot of people are just like, it's worse than the prequels. I'm just like,
Nah.
No. There's moments that are like the prequels, but it's far beyond that in quality.
Like I tell people, you sometimes gotta look for the good things. Like Batman v Superman, bad movie, but there are things I enjoyed in it. Justice League, I had fun watching it. Is it like as great as it could be? It will never compare to the first Avengers. It will never compare to the second Avengers.
It will never compare to the animated show.
Exactly. But I enjoyed it for what it was. So this Star Wars movie, they put their foot in it. I like it.
Yep, best movie ever.
Yeah.
If you listen to Weekly Planet.
Yeah, go by their rating. I have to say it's the best movie ever.
Yeah, they definitely
put their foot in it.
Yeah, Charles's own stamp of approval.
I'm not disappointed by this at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are little things. I mean, there's no movie from beginning to end where you can say I enjoyed every part. There's going to be something where you don't like.
Yeah, could have been a little bit more fish nuns, a little bit less BB-8,
and a little less porgs.
I actually like the part where the porgs are like trying to turn on a lightsaber. And then one of them had their face in it.
Dude, he was looking like, hey, what's what's down there? I was like, oh, holy crap.
If that scene just went on like 2 seconds longer.
And like Ray didn't come and grab it, I was gonna be like, man, talk about a new Star Wars.
Ryan Johnson, you saved Star Wars. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Unlike those people who say you killed Star Wars, I don't think Star Wars is dead.
They can go to hell.
Yeah. Maybe Han Solo will kill Star Wars.
Nah, I doubt that.
Oh well. Well, we'll find out next year. But for right now, that's going to be it for this podcast. If you enjoy our little conversations we have going on, you could always leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm Marco.
I'm Charles.
We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.